All right. So I'm not sure where this podcast is going to land, most likely on my channel. But I do have some pretty important people here. I have Joey, who is, what's your Instagram name on Instagram?
Miami_injury_lawyer. Yeah. Miami injury lawyer.
And one of the cool things about it is I think that what you're doing, honestly, is probably one of the coolest things, because I don't think I've ever seen like someone hit like social media the way you are and marketing the way you are for like injury.
Thank you.
Especially like out of state.
Yeah.
Like the way that you're setting up your out of state network and, you know, getting lawyers in all the different states. Like, I think it's awesome.
Thank you.
You know, I definitely have noticed that. And I think it's something that's super dope. And then the connection is through Phil. Phil is the owner of Basis Medical. You have 2 locations of Basis, right? And then now my partner in Raw Wellness, which we plan on doing a few of those, similar concept. But one thing that I do want to talk about, Phil, and I don't think I've ever actually told Phil this, is when I was in school, basically I'm from down south. I'm from this area. And Phil, it was known when I was in school as like the coolest fucking dude on earth, right? Still is. But when I was in school, everyone's like, dude, you gotta go meet Phil. You gotta go meet Phil. Like, he's got the sickest practice. Go meet him. So I think I think it was like I messaged you on Facebook.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, I want to come down. And you were super fucking nice to me. I was competing at the time too. So I think we were like just talking through social media. Right. And I came down and I went to your office. Mm-hmm. And awesome office, blown away by everything. But one of the things that you told me, and like that I'll never ever forget, was you sat me down and you were basically like, you got to figure out a way to do this where you're not behind the chair all the time, because one thing you're going to hate over time is like you're trading your time for money. Mm-hmm. And when I left, I was like, fuck, like I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. You know, like, because I don't know if I want to be in a career. Like, you obviously don't do it anymore because you have built such a great empire for yourself. But like at the same time, like I didn't even want to start that way. I was like, I don't want to trade my time for money. I want to just like be able to make money in my sleep and in every other aspect. I just want to make money all the time. So I went back and I was like, I put this whole plan together. And there's kids that I went to school with that I'm sure are watching this that will basically say, yeah, like I remember you writing this shit down in school. But it was like this whole, I want to have a gym. I want to do, you know, hormone replacement therapy. I want to have these clinics. I want to put them all over the country. And I remember when I went back, I wrote I sent an email to my mom, and I still have the email. It was from 2010. And I basically outlined everything I was going to do. Like, I'm going to open these, I'm going to open this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have a supplement company. And I sent it to her, and she sent it back to me last year. It was the first time I saw it since I sent it, which is pretty cool. But that was because of you. You know, like I did what I did because I met you and you were like, look, like it's so easy because you were super successful. You were kicking ass. Like, you could have just been like, this fucking kid, like I'll just like spend some time with him, show him what to do. But you really spent time with me and you made me feel like you gave a shit.
Thanks, man.
Of course. And we've been great friends ever since. And that's how I met Joey. And now Phil and I, like I said, are partners in Raw Wellness, which we just opened in the Stewart gym. So the Raw Athletic Club in Stewart, which is now currently known as Revive Gym, is going to be switching to Raw Athletic Club. We opened like a month ago, really? About a month ago. Doing extremely well, seeing a pretty good amount of patients now, which I'm pretty excited about. But I think one of the cool things to talk about is like the difference between when you started and like how it is now.
Right. Yeah. Well, back when we met, I remember, like, first off, you know, I remember I really liked you when I first met you. We started talking, and I was like, man, this guy's special. There was something different about you back then. But definitely, like, you did not do anything that I recommended when it came to like billing insurance and having that type of practice. And it was like always like a running joke. I was like, I gave Don my whole business plan, you know, like we had a physiatrist on staff, physical therapy, and like he goes right into hormone replacement therapy, IV, gym. And it's really amazing watching you not only do that, but the way you've grown so much.
Didn't my mom call you at one point?
Yeah, your mom called me when she freaked out when she's like, Phil, you got to talk to Dom. I was like, what happened? And I think it was right when you were about to go get that lease for your 20,000 square foot gym.
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember I called you, and whatever we said, I was like, you totally put me at ease. And I called her back. I was like, he knows what he's doing. He's got this figured out. And it was just, it's been going. By the way, I just want to say one thing about your mom. You know, I lost my mom when I was 29, and I wish, because my mom had a lot of similarities to your mom. And, you know, Gina's just been a big part of like your success because, you know, she
100%
so well. And the fact that you brought her, kept her in like with the businesses and stuff, and she's just an amazing person.
No, dude, all credit to my mom, always. Awesome. You know, I wouldn't be where I am without her.
Me too.
Yeah, Royd?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, tell me about it. Talk about it.
No, I mean, look, my parents always supported me. heavily.
From here?
From day
From
one.
are you from?
Originally from Israel.
Okay.
Moved here when I was 5 to the States.
Okay.
And have been in South Florida ever since. But whatever I wanted to do, my parents were always like, go for it. We got your back. Whatever you want to pursue, just I hope you succeed.
Yeah.
Right. And it was both my parents, but I lost my father about 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago.
Okay.
And then ever since, my mom's been like my number one support.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to always talk to my father as well.
Yeah.
But now it's just, my mom's like, oh, how's work going? How's this going? Tell me about it. I'm so excited. Like when I settle a big case, she gets more excited than I do.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I just settled a case for $1 million. She's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, it's great. Like, kind of numb to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, it's good to have a great relationship with your mom.
For sure.
I saw this one Instagram video recently where it was like a bunch of these, I think they were college football players. They're all huge guys.
Yeah.
Tough looking.
Yeah.
And then everyone was asked, when's the last time you spoke to your mom? They're like, this morning, last night.
Yeah. It's true.
So it's important.
Dude, it's a testament. I mean, I fully agree with that. And I think it's funny too, because like, I think my mom obviously wanted to support me. Like, it was just like she was scared for me because like I went to school to do one thing and I came out of school and I did like something that I didn't even need to go to school for. So it'd be like if you went to law school, finished law school, and then you got out and you're like, yo, I'm just going to do this.
Right.
And then to be like, are you sick? Did you fall? What? Like, why? Like, why waste all this time to do this? And it was just like, I don't know how to like even explain what I felt in the moment, but I just knew like this is what I was supposed to do. Right. So it was like, fuck it, I'm just going to full send it. And like at that time, like, what's a better time to do it than in the beginning when like you don't have anything to lose?
Right.
It's different now. Like I would never go back and take the same risks. Like I talk about it all the time. If I could go back, I don't even know if I would do the same things again because like now I have a brain like that's developed and I have a lot more to lose. It's like, fuck man, that was pretty risky. But I did it. So.
Yeah. But you also not only did one thing, you did two things. That's huge. You went from the hormone replacement therapy business, revive, relive. And then, you get into the nutritional business and then for it to jump start like it did. I mean, that's two huge brands for such a
but
person.
to be fair, like, and I don't take this the wrong way, but like most people in the sports nutrition industry, like get lucky. Like, for example, like they're in the right place at the right time. They're not necessarily the best business people. So like for me, like having all the business sense that I had coming from the medical side and like knowing like the strict laws, strict regulations, like really knowing how to like operate a P&L, moving that into this sports supplement space, it was like a cheat code because a lot of these guys are like bodybuilders who, have a big following and they just start a supplement company or, they were in the right place at the right time and it just ended up being this big thing. But when you look at them on paper, I would say like 70% of these companies that you see are not ran properly. They're not profitable companies. On the outside, they may look really good, but it is what it is.
Gotcha.
So I think that I was not lucky, but like I guess you could say like the experience that I gained from the medical side really helped on the supplement side.
Right.
The regulations, there's not many on the supplement side, whereas that it's crazy on the medical side.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Going back to that email from 2010.
Yeah.
Sounds like you were like visualizing.
Oh, dude, I literally, let me see if I can pull it up. It's crazy. My mom sent it to, I think I put it in a post. Hit me. I definitely have it. I know I have it. It's, where is this fucking thing? So you're gonna have to speed this part up, bro.
2010. You were what, like 20 years old at the time?
Yeah. I was 20 years old.
Undergrad.
Yeah. I think I just moved to Atlanta. Like just moved to Atlanta. I'm missing this thing. Where is it? Fuck me. Oh, I can't. Move on. Thought I had it like readily as I like
Did social media in a minute.
Yeah, we'll talk about. Let's talk about visualization for now.
Yeah,
like how that's helped.
I'm not gonna find it because I'm looking for it. That's just
how it is.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
Yeah. Oh wait, I got it. Here it is. Holy shit. Fuck. Thought I had it. Oh, here it is. She printed it and sent me a picture of it.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't use spaces either for some reason. There's one.
Dude, that looks very specific.
Yeah.
That's your plan?
It's word for word exactly what I did. I told her like what I planned on doing, how grateful I was for her.
So Dom, you really manifested it back then.
Dude, it's literally word for word, like
It's amazing.
what I'm going to do for her when she retires. I'm going to make sure she doesn't have to work, like the whole thing, dude, all the way down till like the end of it. Yeah, it was on 12/24, March 19th, 2013 is when I signed it. So 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where
Yeah.
we met.
Yeah.
Actually, right.
How do you think that visualization has, like, what part has it contributed to your success?
Dude, you know what's really weird? Like one thing that I've been like really good at my whole life is like seeing myself do stuff before I do it. Like in all aspects, like whether it be like a goal, like if you want to get a new car, like you're visualizing getting the car. If you want to like grow this to that, visualizing getting to that point. Like I've always been able to see it like in my head.
Yeah.
And then, like even with like when I like redo my house or when I'm building something, like I can like see the outcome of what it's going to look like. I know like what I'm going to put, where I'm going to put it, what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And I have friends who can't do that. Like they can't see like the end of the tunnel. They can't visualize how it's going to look when it's done. So I think maybe that comes from like one thing my dad did when I was little is my dad was a contractor. So I was always around like projects, you know, like, and then knowing, like visualizing how they would be done, I could kind of see it as they went.
Yeah.
But I do believe in that. The power of manifestation is real.
It is.
There's no fucking way it's not, you know, and I think it has a lot more to do with just like the thoughts that you tell yourself.
Right.
I think it's like one of those things, if you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself you're going to have a shit day, you're going to have a fucking shit day.
100%.
You know, but if you wake up and you're just grateful for the good and the positive, and you can turn any shitty day into a good day or any good day into a shitty day based off of the outlook you have on it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So that's kind of like how I feel about it. Like when it comes to that, I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way, right?
I think that I couldn't agree more. And you're a testament to like, I like when your dad was building something, like to be able to look at something, because it's funny. You're actually a really good builder.
Yeah.
This guy, like all this stuff in the office is like, he designed it.
Yeah.
He's sick.
Yeah.
Chose it. So even like the paneling, this is your idea.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's just like things that make, I don't know, things that like can make things unique, but also like super cost effective too.
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't want to spend a fucking fortune on things when my house is different, but like for stuff like this, you want it to be like unique, but different.
Right. And you segued from bodybuilding to now you're a triathlete.
Yeah, but like bodybuilding, in my honest opinion, I think that like bodybuilding can teach anyone how to be successful in life, and just because of the amount of time and effort it takes to do it, right? Like you can't. It's 24 hours a day. Like your working out is like the easiest part, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the dieting. You're weighing all your food. You're sleeping. You're resting. Like it's so many things that like all encompassing get you to like an end goal.
Yep.
Whereas like if you can do that, if you can take that effort and put it into anything, you're gonna be successful.
Right.
It's not possible to not be successful.
Right.
Like imagine spending 24 hours a day. I mean, and like I'll be honest, like I don't spend 24 hours a day on anything right now because I can do it in 12 or
Right.
But like I did it for 24 hours a day for years of my life.
Yeah.
So if I can do that, I can feel like I can do fucking anything.
Right. You're that dedicated to it.
Yeah,
And it builds up the discipline. The discipline is transferable.
for sure.
A lot of people don't realize that. They see all these guys in the gym, which is a great example to use, because most people that work out that are in very good shape, they work out every day.
100%.
It's part of their routine.
Yeah.
And they transfer that discipline to other parts of their life.
Well, and it's the truth is like most of the time, there are exceptions to the rule, but like most of the time, if you look at someone who's in great shape in the gym and who's like structured, they're successful in life.
Right.
There's a very, very few times that like, you have like an outlier who isn't.
Right.
But then I can also go to the gym and look at the guy who goes to the gym every single day, who looks the same for the last 10 years, that looks like shit still. And you're like, that guy's no discipline because he's in here every day working out, but then he's shoveling his, like he's not doing anything right outside the gym.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's like, that's like a true testament to life. Like that's the same thing, right? Like you can do 10%. And my thing is like, if you're doing like 80% of it and the other 20% is what's going to change your life, like why would you not just do the other 20%?
Yeah.
Right.
And it usually is just
It's
the 80-20
it's this
rule,
much more.
you know?
Yeah, it's like why not just fucking finish it and do it right and get everything you want out of it.
Yeah.
You're doing like all the work and you're not getting any of the benefits because you're just lacking that 20 points.
Right. It was funny. That's where a lot of times people will quit.
100%.
Get really close to it, and then just I'm not seeing the gains, and then they stop. They're so close. It's like that's where the good.
Dude,
stuff
I know kids who started doing things in my space before me who just quit, and like I can only think that that's why I'm where I just didn't quit.
Never.
Right.
Like you just figure it the fuck out and just keep going.
And they don't realize that success is like exponential, right?
Correct.
A lot of people in the beginning, it starts off like this, like this, like this, and then boom, it goes
Yeah.
up. Like I remember my first year, I did 600,000 in settlements my first year.
Yeah.
And I thought I was the king of the world.
Yeah.
And now that's a bad month for
Yeah.
me. You know, like I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It's the same with raw wellness,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you did in 1 month what you did the first year, you'd be like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah.
Right?
No, dude, you're
So
absolutely right.
It's all exponential, and the people don't see that. They just don't stay on long enough.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't persist.
Well, I think the other thing too is like if you look at any business or, you know, Raw, your business, Philly, your business, like it's like it takes time.
Yeah.
You know, people don't want to wait. Like the stuff that I'm reaping the benefits of today were in the making since, you know, 10 years ago or 8 years ago or whatever it was. And it's like, if you saw me 8 years ago, you'd been like, this kid's a fucking idiot. Like, this isn't going to work. You know, like this, whatever this kid thinks is stupid. Yeah. But I just, you know, over year after year after year after year, you keep fucking chipping away. And then like, you're right. It's kind of like this, it kind of like slowly grows. And then you have that 1 year where it's just like, fucking see you later.
Yeah.
But you just
With
hang over.
Raw, I know you've had to reinvest money. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine having to deliver that much product. It's going to cost so much money.
Yeah. So like when we first started Raw, there's like in the supplement industry, you have like these like tiers of like growth, right? So like you have your direct to consumer, which is great because they pay when they buy. So like you're always cash flow positive at that point, right? Like if you have a good brand that has good, I guess you could call it like following that people buy, you'll always be cash flow positive. But then once you get into like specialty, like Vitamin Shop, GNC, which is technically like our specialty, that's where you first get introduced to terms, right? So like terms there are usually like 30 days or 45 days. They usually send a paper check, so they add like 15 days for fucking snail mail. So figure you're not getting paid for like 40 to 60 days, right? So that's like the first time that we were like, fuck, we need to like put money back into the business because we're not getting paid as soon as we send. So we have to buy the materials, send them out, and then wait 60 days. Right. So that was like our first capital call. And then, oh my God. And then Walmart, Sam's, like the big boys, right? So those guys, like, they don't give a fuck. Like, they won't pay for 40, 50, 60 days. Granted, like, we have a really good relationship with Walmart and Sam's. Now we get paid in 30 days. Yeah. We can actually get paid in like 2 days if we want to now. But like in the beginning, you know, you're loading in for Walmart and Sam's. I think our load-ins were like 15 or 16 million bucks. So we had to fund, you know, that. And then now we're doing it again because we started the protein RTD, and the protein RTD load-in just from October, November, and December. Like, so like literally we started shipping this week is $35 million for the end of the year. So like that's, you know, having to get the capital because like the RTD manufacturers, like the guys who make those drinks, they don't do terms at all. Like there's so much business for them that they want and that people will pay. People will actually pay to kick you off the line.
Really?
So like, yeah, like the place that we just visited, like there's people who will pay to like throw you off. They'll pay like $1 million just to get you off the line so they can get in on the line. Wow. So you have to pay all up front. Wow. Yeah.
You ever thought about opening a manufacturer for RTD?
I thought about opening a manufacturing for everything at one point, but like my thing is, you know, my naive piece of me thinks that I could do it. And what I did, which I think was really smart, is last year, one of the contract manufacturers that we use, the main operating partner, they sold it to a Chinese private equity firm or a Japanese private equity firm called Nagase or Nagase, I think is how you say it. But he left and then he actually bought into Raw, like a small piece of Raw. And he restructured all of our terms and our lines and our credits with all of our manufacturers. So basically, like in essence, we control every ounce and every piece of our manufacturing process, but without having to outlay any capital. So like it's basically like we own it. We do all of our raw material contracts. We pay a tolling fee for all of our stuff. Like we're not paying all-in costing on anything. We negotiate everything to the kilogram. Like, wow. So now it's like we have the best of both worlds. We don't have any of the infrastructure or the people, but we get the same exact pricing.
Yeah. So you don't need that.
No. Yeah. And it's like, dude, it's a vicious business to be in, and it's definitely like a lucrative business if you know how to do it well. But like at the same time, you know, a lot of the vertical integration in this space, like for example, if like Nestle wants to buy me, they're not going to want to buy a manufacturing facility because they already have one. Right. So like when it comes time to sell, it can hurt you because they're gonna be like, hey, yeah, we love your brand, but we don't want the fucking headache of this manufacturing facility because we already have ours. And like, that's how we're going to save more money, right? Because like what these brands look for, like the Nestle's and like the Bellring brands and all these other companies, Premier Protein, they want to see your top line revenue. They want to see your net operating expenses because that doesn't matter to them. How they run their business is different to how I run my business. So they're going to figure out where they can get their profitability, and their profitability is in volume and in manufacturing. So right off the top, they're going to know, oh, well, I can save 20% if I move this to my manufacturing facility. And then it's a better deal for them to buy my brand. Yeah. If it comes with a manufacturing facility, it doesn't help them at all.
Did you build the business with having the sale in mind?
Like I mean, so I used to not. So like, for example, when I first started the medical offices, I didn't. Like I built it as like my fun, like I was never going to sell it. I used it like it was my own bank account. Obviously stayed super profitable, but it was just like mine, you know? And then when it came time for like Raw and Revive MD and even like the franchise company for the medical offices now and Bum Energy, all of my businesses I build to sell because you have to in order to just get like proper financials and investment, right? Because even if I didn't want to sell and I wanted to take on a strategic investor to, raise $150 million, they look at it like a sale. So like they need to see quality of earnings, they need to see audited financials, they need to see all that stuff. So now like we do that across all the businesses every year just to make sure like everything's perfect. Yeah. But it was a learning curve for sure. Like, cause it's building something to sell is very different.
Yeah. And like that level of business, you don't learn that in school.
No, fuck.
You don't like, how did you think you learned all that?
Just by doing it.
Just by doing it.
Yeah, like so. I mean, even like we had a CFO, like a really good CFO that came on, and like we started a process, and like during the process, they were like, "You need a different CFO. Like this guy's good." And like I thought he was like the best, because like from my point of view, he was like way better than I ever was.
Yeah.
But they were like, "Yeah, this guy's not good." And like the guy who is our CFO now, he's $500,000 a year, and he's just like a fucking genius. Like. Everything he does is like to the T, meticulous. He knows where everything is. He has like forecasts out for like cash flow and making sure like we're cash flow positive throughout the year. And like he'll pinpoint like points, like let's say like next year, 2025, he'll be like August 23rd is going to be tight. You're like, how the fuck do you even know that? And he's like, well, I'm taking the POs, I'm doing this, I'm multiplying them out, I'm looking at the cash flow coming in, I know the terms, blah, 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 blah. You're going to need to have like an extra $450,000 for this week.
And he was right on, dead on.
Everything he says is dead on. I mean, and granted, like usually we're growing at a rate where like that doesn't happen because he can only book like what he knows, right? So there's no growth put into it. But it's just like stuff like that, like even quality of earnings and like audited financials, like a Q of E, I didn't even know what that was. So a Q of E is like after you do your audit, the Q of E team goes in and they try to get you more money for your EBITDA. So they'll like go in and be like, well, you fly private. So like we can take that out. And then, because they're not like whoever replaces you, God forbid, in this business is not going to take your plane everywhere. They're going to fly commercial. So they replace all of those flights with commercial flights. And then that brings our quality of earnings even up higher. And like little things like that just add multiple. Because if you look at a business like for EBITDA, so for example, say Raw's EBITDA is $41 million a year, right? At $41 million, the sale, right? The multiple on supplement companies is 15. So if you take 41 million and multiply it by 15, even if you can save $2 million, right? Say you save $2 million on a Q of E, you have to multiply that times 15. That's $30 million added to your top line. That's a lot of money. So like these little things that you pay for that cost a fortune when you're doing them really make you way more money in the long run.
Yeah.
Way more money.
Did you ever think you'd be talking about this stuff?
No, fuck no. We literally go to breakfast sometimes, Sammy and I, and like we were with Enzo. I think we were eating breakfast the other day, and I was just like, this shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome. It's amazing to be able to do it, but it's just absolutely wild.
Yeah. But Dom, I'm going to make a prediction, man. 10 years from now, you're going to look back and be like, I'm telling you, whatever it is that you're going to be involved in, it's going to be some other amazing thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think like, the cool thing now is like I can pick and choose who I do business with, which like is a luxury for sure. I think in the beginning, you just got to figure it out and take what you can.
Yeah.
It's like you in the beginning, you take whatever case, right? And now you're just like, fuck you, I'm not taking this case.
Yeah, right. I had to do that this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that there's a beauty in that. Like, I think that, you create like this rapport for yourself. People start to respect you more because you're not chasing everything that comes after you. I think one of the best things I've ever learned in life is the power to say no. Focusing your energy only where you want to put it, saying no, and just being like, look, like no disrespect, it is what it is. Like it has nothing to do with you, but I need to protect my time and my energy, and this is not for me. And people take offense to that a lot. Like I get more people talk shit about me for me just saying simply no to them because I don't want to get involved in whatever fucking idea they have, but it's just out of protecting my own peace. Like I have a family at home. I don't have a lot of time in my life anymore, like as far as like on the daily basis, and like whatever I do have, I want to spend with them.
Yeah.
So you can
just posted there, you had 3,000 text messages a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But like whatever, it's no hard feelings.
But he answers DMs.
I do. I do. Yeah.
I texted both of you guys. He didn't answer.
Yeah.
He answered in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I realize my Instagram, I'm always answering DMs.
Oh, dude. Yeah. My phone is just half the people in there shouldn't even be texting me in the first place. So I just leave them in there, And then if God forbid they get lost, and then I'm fucked. I'm gonna find it.
Dom does answer when I call him, man, almost every time.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm usually, if you call me, I'll answer for sure. Yeah.
How have you learned to manage your time? Because I've been following you on Instagram now, and you're doing triathlon.
Yeah.
you train like 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck does he do all this while building the brand?
So you wake up really early. That's one of the secrets. Yeah. It's like, so right now, especially like with Sammy, like she's up at like 7:30, 7:45 ish. She's usually like in the kitchen. Yeah. So like I try to be done working out before she gets up. Gotcha. Like that's my goal. Like this morning I got done with my ride like right when she finished getting up, you know. So like our night nurse leaves at like 7ish. So like she kind of like gets into the kitchen by 7:30. So that's like my goal. Yeah. I try to get to work by 10 every day. So I can spend a little bit of quality time with them in the morning, and then I'm here. Sometimes I'll take like, if I have like a 9 a.m. call, I always take it at home. Right. But that's it, man. Like I think one of the things is that my assistant's incredible for sure. Nicole's great. And I have awesome people. Like my team is exceptional. Like my guys who run Bum Energy, Maddie does a great job. You know, my mom running Relive does an amazing job. We have a great corporate team for Relive. Raw is really where I spend like 99% of my time right now, just because of everything that we have going on. But I don't think that I could ever do what I do without my team, like at all, you know, and I'm sure a testament to both of you guys, you know, like as you grow and as you know, you have more responsibility, you just have to figure out like what you don't need to do. Because I find myself like, I'm the type of person where if something's wrong, like I want to fix it. Like I want to fix it fast, right? I'm sure you're very similar. Like if you can fix it, you want to fix it fast. But like that doesn't do you any good. Right. You know, granted, like speed is definitely important. Like the efficiency is there, but like I try to figure out like if anyone else can do it, I want them to do it. And then I want to focus on the things that only I can do. Yeah. And like that's been really good for me to like nourish relationships and like be able to meet new people. And like some of the relationships that I've met, like for example, like the guy who got us into Walmart and Sam's Club was truthfully like this guy who I met from a friend in Aspen when I was in Aspen, and we were literally snowboarding. And like I just took the time to like spend some time with this guy. Like we went out to dinner, we like chopped it up the next day, and then you know the next year, you know, we're getting $250 million POs from Sam's Club. Wow. So like,
good meeting.
You know, and it's like, and it's just a relationship. You know, I didn't even want it to be like transactional. Right. It was just, but that's building a brand. You know? That's what really builds your brand. Networking and just talking to people and being out there and just meeting new people. I mean, you get it. You're doing it. You know?
There's this thing I always tell my friends: the more hands you shake, the more money you make.
And people are so scared to like get out there and just talk to people, and like you never know who the fuck you're gonna talk to. Yeah. Like one of my buddies, he owned a company called Daring Foods. His name's Ross Mackey. He actually sold the company, and now he has another company called Cadence. But he was in Texas, I believe it was Texas. He told me, fuck, it may not have been Texas. I don't know, maybe Texas or maybe California. I don't remember. But he was on like a bike, he was like doing like biking. And there's like a huge bike meet. He's biking with this guy. This guy's got like a sick bike. He gets done. He's having coffee. And the guy's like, he's like, dude, what do you do? He's like, oh, I work for Walmart. And he's like, oh, cool. Like, that's sick. And he's like, but like most people who work for Walmart, like live in Bentonville. You know, like when we have a meeting with Walmart, like there's no, they've come here once. We've gone there fucking 7,000 times, right? They don't leave. Yeah. And he was like, that's weird. Like, I wonder like who this guy is. And then like a few minutes later, they exchange numbers, blah, blah, blah. The guy walks outside, helicopter lands, picks up his bike, just his bike. He gets into his like fucking whatever Aston Martin, $12 million, like crazy spec Aston Martin, and drives away. And Ross is like, who the fuck is this guy? Like he just picked up his bike in a helicopter, and now he's driving away in his car. It was like the grandson of the Waltons. Fast forward 4 months, he has a full launch of his product in Walmart. Wow. You know, just from chopping it up with the guy on a bike trail, like, you know, whatever. And like that's what happens more times than you think. Yeah. You know, it's like it's all the shit's the same. Like, you know, pre-workout's pre-workout, protein's protein. Granted, like, yeah, the marketing is different, but like you put it on a shelf in Walmart, no one knows the difference. They look at the price. Yeah. So it's like the relationship and however it takes to get there, that's how you win.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Eddie, you touched on branding and social media a little bit. How has that it affected Raw?
Oh, dude. I mean, everything. Yeah. I mean, I think that we got in, I wouldn't say we got in early. I think that sports supplement brands have been around forever, you know, especially on Instagram. Right. I think like, for example, like with us, we've just built a really cool story on like being unapologetically yourself, right? Like I think the raw like story or the Raw brand is really like, we don't care what you do. We don't really care if you work out. Like we just want you to be like 100% in on what you believe and like, don't change for anybody. Right. And I think that we could sell anything. Like we sell out of our apparel, we sell socks, we sell backpacks, like anything, and people buy all of it because they want to be a part of something a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But like I will say, like we do our Q&A events a lot, and we go into these places, and I mean, half the kids don't even work out. You know, they're just there to like, you know, your story about this, like you helped me get through this part of my life, or, you know, and it's like, that's fucking awesome. Yeah. Like the working out is cool. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But like at the same time, like when you're changing people's like actual lives, there's no better feeling in the world. Yeah. No better feeling in the world. So that's kind of like what changed for us. What I will say though, like, and I mean this, like, and I'm not bullshitting you, man, like what you're doing when it comes to like the outreach now with like the car accidents nationwide and stuff, I see that being fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like huge.
Yeah, thank you.
I've never seen anybody do that yet. Yeah. I mean, you have the people in like their certain towns, right? That like you've never seen I think lawyers are just very scared to network.
Yes.
With other lawyers. I think it's like, it's my case. No, it's my case. It's like, well, if it's both of our cases and it's half and half versus 0 and 0, why not just fucking do that, you know? And I think that's like a power of greed too, is like people don't realize like you can do so much more with people.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so much more to be made and so much like more outreach or, you know, reach in general when you're like working with good people.
Yeah.
And like for you, like it takes 2 seconds to find an attorney license in a different state, throw him a piece, and then he's making money he wouldn't be making any other way. Right. But like people don't think like that.
Yeah. No, they don't.
Well, with social media, you guys both do such a great job of connecting people, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you're, like you said, connecting through a personal injury, and then Dom with all the stuff. You've really brought people together that never would have been together. I think that's
yeah. And I think that's one of the most powerful things about social media, because you can connect with anyone. Like, I think he brought you up, and then I DM'd you, and then we started talking about cars, and we both know Kyle Fletcher, and next thing you know, we're DMing each other for like 2 hours about cars and bullshit, and it's like, yo, I feel like he's my best friend, you know?
You guys would like each
other. And it happens so much, where you never meet people in person, you just talk to them on social media, and then you meet them in person, it's like, yo, what's up,
bro? Some of my best friends started like that. Like I have friends in my space, right, in the sports supplement space, because before Florida, like Florida was like a kind of a hot spot for supplement companies, but like really it was California was a huge one, and Texas. So like I have some really good friends that own like Congo brands. I have good friend Katie and Hayden who own Alani Nutrition, Dan and Ryan who own Ghost. Like these are some of my best friends that I met through social media. You know, it was just like a DM like, hey bro, like I love what you guys are doing. Like you motivated me to start Raw based off of what you guys did. And now like we go and we hang out every time we see each other. We're at all these conventions together, and we're going to Aspen together, and it's just like you don't realize it's such a it's obviously a blessing and a curse, social media, because you see like a lot of bullshit too. But at the same time, like if you use it the right way, you know, you can really find like-minded people very easily, because obviously you can see what they post, and you can kind of you can tell if they're full of shit or like bullshit really quickly. But you know, the other end of that is like, obviously, you know, everyone thinks that they should be billionaires by the time they're 21. So that's the tough part.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like you mentioned, you're friends with all your competition, quote unquote. But I think it's so important. Like I have a lot of friends, and I'm sure you have a lot of friends that are chiropractors that, you know, I have a lot of friends that are personal injury attorneys in my town, in my city. And I feel like I'm so happy that I'm friends with them because they're the only ones that I can really connect with.
Dude, it's so funny you say that. I literally I was vlogging yesterday, and a little piece of my vlog is like I went in my pantry, and I one of my good friends is Sal Frisilla. He owns First Form with Andy Frisilla.
I'm a huge fan of Andy.
Andy's like, I love Andy. One of my closest people I talk to. Like literally, like if I have an issue, I talk to Andy every day about it.
I was gonna bring him up.
I love Andy. Oh,
dude, I was listening to his podcast this morning.
Oh, dude. Andy's awesome. But like I was talking to Sal, and like he was doing a triathlon, and he posted like, we have a salt product that he used, and he like put it in his thing. And like one of the guys at his office were like, bro, you're gonna post that? Like, you know, that's raw. And he's like, dude, have you looked at Dom's Instagram? Like he posts our beef sticks every fucking day. And like if you go in my pantry, like I have a drawer, and you know it, there's like 900 of them in there, and I live off those fucking things because I'm so busy that it's just so easy to grab 20 grams of protein. So like I love those. Greg, one of my boys who owns Bloom Nutrition, I Instacarted all of his new energy drinks to my house last night. I tried the peach mango last night. It's like, support your friends, like Ghost, you know, Alani. I have all that shit in my house. And like, it's not because I'm scared. Like I want them to be successful. There's so many people, and it like no one's going to buy everything from one brand. It's just not going to happen.
Just having like a surplus mentality.
And people you can bounce shit off of, like, bro, did you go through this? Or like, you know, I called Greg the other day talking to him about something. I forget what it was, but he's like, yeah, I've been there. Like, fuck, that was miserable, you know? And it's like, yeah, what'd you do? How'd you get through it? And like, even like with Sal about like fatherhood, right? Sal's like the best dad ever, right? Online. Like I watch him and I like want to be just as good of a dad as him. And he's like, you know, giving me all this advice. Like even before, you know, Sammy had the baby, he's like, bro, I just want you to make sure you do this. And like, don't forget about this. And he's just like, he doesn't need to do that.
Right.
You know, and like even Andy, like congrats on everything. Like he's like so invested in my garage behind my house. He's like texting me like, bro, send me a video, send me pics, you know?
He's like crazy
collection. Yeah. And like, that's why I built it. You know, like I followed Andy forever. And like, I remember my buddy built his garage, his gym at his house. And he's like, dude, he has a full mechanic shop underneath it. Like he works on all of his cars underneath it, full-time mechanic. And I'm like, I'm doing it. Fuck it. Like I need that too.
That's
you know? So like literally
it's a garage, Dom. It's like another house.
It's huge. Yeah. It's huge. But like, it's like, that's like, those are the people that inspire you, right? You can either take it as like, fuck this guy, he's so successful and he's like shoving it down everyone's throat, or you can take it and be like, I'm going to have that one day and whatever the fuck it takes, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's just how you look at it.
Yeah. It kind of shows you that it's possible.
Fuck yeah, it does. Yeah. Dude, if I can do it, like I'm telling you, anyone can. Like I'm nothing special. Like I didn't get good grades in school, but I really just did it to get by. Like I just knew I needed to get like a B+ to keep my mom off my ass. And like, that's all I got was B+, you know, like could I have gotten A's? Probably, but then I was too busy like doing other shit, you know, like networking, not going to school, being social. Like life is a weird place. You remember that?
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah. Oh, you're Dom, obviously you're very brilliant and you're a hard worker. Yeah. Those two things together.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back at like really, I think everything comes down to like watching my mom work as hard as she did when I grew up. You know, my mom started at BJ's Wholesale Club as a cashier. Wow. So like I saw, you know, like from a baby, whenever I can remember, I saw my life change based off of how hard she worked. So like every time she would get a promotion, like, you know, I could get shoes twice a year instead of once a year, or like, you know, like things like that would happen. And I'm like, damn, this is dope, right? Like, so what I saw was one, like my mom working like a fucking dog, right? My whole life, which is why I have such a close relate. Like she went without a lot to make sure that I went without nothing. Right. And I, you know, I owe her for the rest of my life for that. But more so like I knew that going through life, like I didn't want to do it for anyone else. Cause I saw like how big of it's $1 billion company BJ's is, but like I saw the amount of effort and work that like my mom and like, you know, her people were putting into this big ass brand. Yeah. And it was like, damn, like first of all, she wasn't treated that great. You know, like I think like once you get into like the corporate world, like maybe like the tier above what Raw is today. And I don't know, maybe we're the same way, but maybe we just run things differently because I saw it from a different side. But like, I try to keep it fun, right? Like when we go on vacation, we do cool shit. We're always going to nice dinners. We're always like, I would rather, and I just had this conversation upstairs, I'd rather have like a team, like say you need a team of 100 people to be successful in a career or like in a business. I'd rather have a team of 60 people that are fucking animals that will work their asses off, that I can pay more, right? I can pay them more and I can do more for them. And then I think the loyalty that comes from that and like the effort that comes from just being overpaid and feeling like you're being taken care of. And then for me, I get to manage 40 less people, right? And like, that's where the biggest issue comes in is 100 different personalities in a room are just not easy to manage, you know? And now we have hundreds of employees. It's like, I would much rather overpay the ones I have to not have to hire more and to just try to get everything I can out of my team.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that one of the hardest parts of growing as a business is dealing with the people.
Yeah, I have like a really good kid that works at one of my medical offices, and he's like incredible at sales, you know, and he put in for the role of the clinic director, and he absolutely has the potential to do it, and he's like if it was based off of just selling and top line revenue, he would have the job in 2 seconds. But what I'm trying to explain to him is like, bro, like there is no doubt in my mind that this is the job for you, but like as far as like leading people, you're not there yet, right? Like you need the skill to be able to get 15 people from point A to point B in different ways based off their personality. And you just don't have it yet. You don't have the experience. So like once we nail that, like the job's yours.
Right.
But I don't want to throw you into it because like the different personalities is like me, right? For example, or you, like I know you guys, it's like, I don't give a fuck how you tell me to do something. As long as you give me clear like expectations of what you want done, I'm going to do it. And that's all. You don't need to like sugarcoat it. You don't need to tell me any type of way. Just tell me what you want. I'm going to do it. It's my job. Right. But there's a certain group of people who don't take that well, right? Like I don't care how you tell me to do something. Like, go fucking finish it now. Like, it needs to be done. I'll go do it. No big deal. But you say that to like a front desk girl who's 16 years old or 18 years old. She's going to have like some type of emotion. She's going to get salty. Then she's going to ruin the fucking mood of the whole entire front of house. Yeah. So like, that's the type of thing that you have to explain. And it's an art. Like, leading people is a fucking art.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. Not easy.